Well, good morning and welcome in. It is Mornings in Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT. About 9 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour, the opening hour of the two best hours of local live talk radio here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Of course, here locally in Meridian on 102.1 FM, online at WALTmeridian.com, and currently live streaming on both YouTube and Facebook. Of course, that Facebook page is WALT Talk Radio. Glad to have you on board here on Thursday, June the 29th. Roger had a good run. Streak is over. He's out today, but Charles Frazier sitting in this morning. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Appreciate everybody's birthday wishes from yesterday. It was a fantastic day. Appreciate everybody out there.
Yeah. Did you have a big day? What'd you do?
Worked.
That's not such a big day.
That's what happens when it lands in the middle of the week. But no, it was good. You know, I got, when you get to talk to people, people call you and text you, catch up. That was pretty cool stuff yesterday. I talked to a few people I hadn't talked to in a while, and got some good text messages, and got a few late phone calls last night trying to go to bed last night.
Sleep.
We were probably about maybe 2 or 3 minutes from going to bed, and I get a phone call from a friend of ours, and we talked for about 30 minutes. So got into bed a little later last night, but it was a good day yesterday.
Awesome.
So,
well, good.
Well, we always have to kind of, with my birthday's on the 28th. My wife's birthday is in May, but our anniversary is on July 3rd. So we're like, do we do the whole celebrating this weekend? Do we wait until Monday? So we're going to kind of we'll do our anniversary on Monday, which, by the way, we're coming to eat at Weidman's.
Excellent.
Probably.
Good choice.
So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
great.
So we'll be there on Monday, and we'll do some stuff this weekend for the birthday as well. So
awesome. Yeah, I've got a similar cluster. I've got my wife's birthday and then our anniversary the next day. And it's the end of November, so it's like Thanksgiving and then all that, and then you got Christmas 24 days later.
I've always said, with our anniversary, it's easy for us to remember because it's right before the 4th of July, and it's right after my birthday. Right. So I have not forgotten an anniversary since we've been married.
No, I'm the same way. If I forget one, I forget the other, and then I'm really screwed.
That's why it kind of works out perfectly, because it's all in a big cluster
then I'm
together.
Moving out, right?
That's the way it works.
But it wasn't yet anyway.
But it was a good day yesterday. Appreciate everybody, and a lot of good friends and family out
awesome.
there.
Well,
so
good.
It was a good day. So our number, 601-485-9191. I guess as we jump into the show today, we got a lot to get into here on the program today. Got some updates on some stories that we did cover yesterday. But before we get into that, we need to tell folks to head over to WALTmeridian.com and register for our Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes because, Charles, we've got a Blackstone griddle, a 2-burner Blackstone griddle that we're going to be giving away to one lucky listener coming up on July the 17th. And if folks want to win that griddle, all they got to do is just simply go log on to WALTmeridian.com. You register, and that's all you got to do.
It's easy.
It's the easiest thing you're going to do all day long.
And that is a nice piece of equipment, I'll tell you what.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So I know I
kind of want to win it, but I can't. I'm ineligible.
Yeah, it's one of those
Thinking
deals.
about quitting just for the month. And
coming back.
I'll be back in August.
Hey, here's my 2-week notice. Right. Why are you back on the 18th? What is this all
just
about?
Kind of a weird thing, yeah.
So, but yeah, WALTmeridian.com. When you log onto the website, you'll have a link, a banner that's going to be, literally right on the homepage. You click it, you register, and we'll do a drawing on July the 17th here during our show, and somebody's going to win that beautiful 2-burner Blackstone grill, 22-inch, and it's going to be a nice prize for somebody for some of that summer grilling. I know a lot of folks are getting ready for the 4th of July grilling, but you can have it for the rest of the summer, and be a nice prize for somebody.
I think we ought to add a rider to it that whoever wins needs to cook us lunch.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You can win it, but by the way,
There are some stipulations, folks. So head over to WALTmeridian.com, our all-new website, and surf around the new website. It's been live here for a couple of weeks now, and you can learn more about the programming we have here on WALT. Everything from Glenn Beck to Joe Pags is right there at WALTmeridian.com. So Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes now. Go register at WALTmeridian.com to win you a little something. It's not really a little something.
That's big something.
It is that Blackstone griddle, so go check it out. Also, while we have an opportunity, let's thank one of our local sponsors because we got a lot of great folks that do support mornings in Meridian, and one of those is our friends over at A&A Glass.
Been doing it right for over 10 years. They're the #1 windshield replacement company here in Meridian. Years running. 601-693 Glass, that's their number, and they're easy to find right there, 22nd Avenue, 2 doors down from the Meridian Children's Museum at 217 22nd Avenue. Of course, they're open 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. They'll work with your insurance company. They're fast. They got all kinds of windshields in stock. They'll beat any price town. Go see them. A&A Glass, 270 2nd Avenue, and that number again, 601-693 Glass. Easy to remember.
And the thing about it is, there's a lot of road construction going on right now in several parts of Meridian and on the interstate. Rock pecks are going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, so we're going to.
And people traveling a lot too, so they're out there on the roads. But,
absolutely, they are the best. I'm a satisfied customer, like a lot of other folks are here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. A lot to cover. A few stories we didn't get to get into yesterday. I got pretty busy on the program yesterday with phone calls and whatnot, but it is going to be a very busy, and I mean a busy, state election coming up. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that the lieutenant governor's race is going to be, Charles, it's going to be the race everybody's going to watch. As far as the primary goes, I mean, we need to emphasize that, the primary between Chris McDaniel and Delbert Hosemann. And it's an issue we've talked about here on the show a good bit over the past several months, and that is the issue of the Mississippi flag. Yeah. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's back at the forefront of conversation, but in some areas it is right now.
Well, we thought the issue had been resolved, and I think that Chris McDaniel is kind of reviving that because I know he knows that he can kind of, get his base riled up and make it an issue again. And of course, he's an advocate for letting the voters decide what the flag should be. And Delbert Hosemann kind of went the other way and said, okay, no, the state legislature is going to decide what it is. And obviously that's what happened. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out and, where we are with that. But I know you've got a story on Mississippi Today that's talking about that right now.
Yeah, Mississippi Today released this article, what was this, a couple of days ago. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to get into it yesterday, so it was a couple of days ago. Of course, bringing up the Mississippi flag, and I'd said several months ago, I really thought it would be somewhat of a talking point. We weren't sure how big of a talking point it was going to be in this upcoming election, but evidently it's going to be one. Well, basically, they kind of gave the history of, I would say vote that the people of Mississippi made, but that didn't really happen. So I know that's really the sore subject with a lot of folks. But it was a story from Senator Kathy Chisholm. She is a Republican from New Albany. She appeared outside her district at a political rally on behalf of Mr. McDaniel in Tishomingo County. This was earlier this month. And Mississippi Free Press also reported on this. Chisholm endorsed not only McDaniel, but the old flag. She said, a lot of our people, just quoting her here, a lot of our people fought and died under that flag. It's unclear what fighting, dying, or people she's referring to, as the old flag was adopted in 1894, long after the end of the Civil War. Just quoting Mississippi Today here as well, by the way. In the past, Chisholm has also incorrectly claimed the old flag was designed by a black Confederate soldier in her defense of the state's Lost Cause banner, which was in fact designed by a white supremacist legislator. That is quoting things from Mississippi Today. So,
well, and I don't really understand what she's saying or what the article is saying.
Yeah, it's kind of it bounces around a little bit.
And because if you're whatever war you're going to, if you're a Mississippi contingent, then you're going to march under the state flag and also the federal flag, and so that is going to represent you and the whatever troop you're assigned to, whatever base you're assigned to. So, they are fighting in a sense under that the old Mississippi flag as well.
Right.
But it has, as far as the relevance to the Civil War and fighting under that flag, I don't know where the article's going with that.
And of course, the article continues on here. Both Delbert Hosemann and Governor Tate Reeves caught some flack after the legislature initiated the flag change, even though neither took an early leadership role in the effort. Both said repeatedly that voters, not lawmakers, should decide the issue. Old Flag supporters said the two Republicans reneged on this policy, Hosemann helping the House-led final legislative push through the Senate and Reeves signing the measure into law. Now, just to be official here, the article goes on to say here, Chris McDaniel, who is running for the office of Lieutenant Governor, primary on August 8th, get out and vote, fought the flag change in the legislature, and after it was changed, he helped lead an effort to force a referendum that would have allowed voters to readopt the old flag or choose a new one. This Let Mississippi Vote effort was led by one of McDaniel's top political and campaign lieutenants, preacher and political consultant Dan Carr of Gulfport. So that is factual. Obviously, Chris, really fought hard to get that referendum going, but of course it ended up failing. But yes, so in some aspects, this issue is kind of bubbling back up in some circles as we get closer to August 8th.
Yeah, and It's interesting, and I think that the initial gamble that the leadership took by saying, "Hey, let's put it to the voters," was, they regret doing that now, and that was kind of the cause of everything. But once you say, "Hey, let's put it to a referendum, let the people decide," and they don't decide in the way that you want, well, you can't. To override that is kind of a violation of their rights, and I agree with that. I don't necessarily agree that the flag should have remained the same. That's a whole different issue. But the issue I think here is that everyone said, "Hey, let's put it to a referendum and let the people decide," and obviously that would be a binding decision what the people decide, but it wasn't, and so that right was kind of taken away from the people.
Well, and I think it's, in all fairness here, is it a real big issue with the campaigns right now? Because I followed some of the, you've seen the political ads.
Yeah.
They are on television, and we've had some of them here on ALT, but has it really been an issue for either campaign as pushing it to the forefront, or is this just this publication making this more of a issue? And I guess the reason being is because maybe of Miss Chisholm at this rally they had in Tishomingo County bringing, the quote that we just read in that article. I guess that may be a little bit of fuel to the fire, maybe an issue for some folks to bring it back up again.
And I think that's exactly what's going on. The article does say that McDaniel appears for now to be letting a surrogate, fellow state senator Kathy Chisholm, raise that issue for him, in essence, so that it's not something that McDaniel is advocating or saying, "Hey, this is a big campaign push," but other people who are his supporters are kind of, putting that out there, putting feelers out and saying, "Hey, let's, if you want to solidify your right Republican base, then this is the way to do it." And so he's not going out there on a limb saying, "Hey, we need to do that." I think that would be a little bit too politically controversial for him, and he would alienate some of his more moderate Republican voters, and they would, lean towards Hosemann probably anyway.
Sure.
But still, those who may be inclined to say that they would vote for McDaniel would then, kind of switch to the Hosemann side. So he's treading very carefully on this issue, probably wisely. But to bring it back up again, it just seems like it's a done deal. Let's just let it lie.
Yeah.
We have changed it, and it's not going to get changed back. All he's doing is just kind of stirring up the pot.
And I think, too, it's interesting that this is brought up with the lieutenant governor's race. I thought this would have more been saved, possibly, and it might be saved more for the actual governor's race when we get to November, between probably your two leaders in the Republican Democratic side, Mr. Presley there for the Democrats, and of course Reeves for the Republicans, that some on one side would push that issue more, but it would be Republicans that were.
Reeves was the proponent of changing it. So
but there's that circle of Republicans that are upset that the vote did not go to the people, and they're going to try to hold Tate Reeves' feet to the fire. But then again, it's like, well, if you're going to do that, then do you support the Democrat?
And there's no way Presley, as a Democrat, would say that he would support
right.
the old flag. So,
right.
That's a non-issue as far as the gubernatorial race
so
goes.
It's kind of it'll be interesting to see if that's even touched.
Yeah, and I think that McDaniel has characterized Hoseman as much more of a moderate, a rhino.
He's called him Dilbert the Democrat.
Yeah, well, that's ever so subtle.
Yeah, I know. It's like here you go, buddy.
What does he mean by that exactly? Yeah, and so obviously that's what he's trying to do is shift the political perception of Hoseman even more to the left and solidify his right base. And obviously that's a very strong base here in the state. But, as I said, it's just kind of picking the scab off that wound. I mean, it's a lot of people are emotional about it. Okay, that's fine. I think we have mostly moved on, but have we? And that's really where we're at now. Is we're circling back, as Jen Psaki used to say.
Well, and it's like I told someone the other day. Switching over to kind of a national landscape. Picking the scab of the flag issue here in Mississippi. Yeah. Continuing to talk about how the 2020 election was stolen.
Oh, boy.
That's
a done deal.
There was probably some stuff that went on,
course.
but you know what? It's done. It's in the past. Are all elections going forward going to be kosher? Probably not.
We would hope. But yes,
we would hope, but probably not.
But they're not, right?
Exactly. So, but what do they say? It kind of is what it is.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. Yeah.
So, but we'll see how it all kind of rolls out. But yeah, Chris McDaniel, to be official during his time, well, he still is the state senator in his area south of here. But during his time, he fought pretty hard to keep the flag the way it was. And now this story is brought back to the forefront.
And it's interesting you mentioned that because that may be all that this is about. And that he knows that there's no issue that the flag's ever going to change, but he'll bring that up and say, hey, I fought for it. And that's what I will continue to do is fight for the people who, I represent and that right-wing base. And so he may just be solidifying that base once again.
Because remember, folks, this is a Republican primary, and this is among the Republican circles. I mean, when you talk to representatives that were in those chambers during those proceedings, it's pretty tough on some of them. I mean, it was a pretty interesting process, to say the least. And there was some feelings hurt, and there was some feelings hurt of constituents in some of these districts around the state of how some of these folks voted. And some people hang on to those emotions. And, and will that carry over into the ballot box? We shall see.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. So 601-485-9191. Would love to get your thoughts on this and whatever else is on your mind out there here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. And if you're looking for some tools, well, folks, we've got the place for you to go. It is Tool Central here in Meridian on Highway 19 South. We're talking about the Car Family and Trucker Supply. And Charles, when we talk about tools, there's one name brand that always comes up, and that is Milwaukee.
That's right. They've got everything made by Milwaukee. And, of course, Milwaukee is made right here in the state of Mississippi. So you're kind of shopping local when you buy those Milwaukee tools at Trucker Supply. And it is your one-stop shop for all your tools. They've got a full room of Milwaukee tools, but also Knipex tools, which are like channel locks on steroids. And, of course, Yeti. They've got everything Yeti you need. Whether that's a cooler, a lunchbox, a dog dish, a brand new mug. Boy, that'll keep your beverage ice cold in this 120-degree heat. How hot's it going to be?
Hotter than the 7 circles of hell today.
It's probably like 10 circles today. Like number 11. But they also have a Yeti replacement parts as well. So if your mug needs a new lid or need a new hinge, whatever that is, they've got it down there at Trucker Supply. Go see them. They're at 519 Highway 19 South. You know where they are. And, of course, their number 601-693-2316. Trucker Supply, your one-stop shop for all your tools.
Listener text into the show here. I think the issue was that when it came to a vote, the voters were given a choice, but the choice was between 2 flags of their design, and the current, at the time, flag was not included. So that may have been another issue, too, to kind of bring to the forefront. So whenever the designs of the flag went to the ballot, so I had to
You mean the original flag was not one of the ones they could vote on?
Yeah.
Okay, because they were changing it, I guess, would be the reason why.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
So
okay.
Interesting.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. So you mentioned the weather, and currently It is 79 degrees as we get close to 7:30 this morning. The feel-like temperature, the old heat index, is already up to 85.
Okay.
And it is going to be, right now, they have it forecasted at 98 today. And the heat index is going to be about 110 to 115, somewhere in that area.
Oh, so 98 is the actual temperature,
Yeah.
but it's going to feel like 115.
And tomorrow is going to hit triple digits as of right now.
The base temperature is going to
Yes.
hit triple, so the heat index is going to be about 140, something like that.
It's going to be devil hot.
50. Yeah, right. Okay.
So, but there is an excessive heat warning out there for the next couple of days, so just kind of bear that in mind. I know we were outside yesterday for like maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, how do people do it?
Yeah.
So if you got one of those jobs where you got to be outside, boy, take those breaks as much as you can today. So I know they're going to keep you hydrated as much as possible, but just bear that in mind. Excessive heat warning. We don't see that too often. I mean, we do have the humidity and the heat during the summer, but it's not too often we see the excessive heat warnings
Sure.
from the National Weather Service. So just keep that in mind and stay hydrated. What did you say yesterday? Drink the proper beverages.
The proper breath. That sure, yeah. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Alcohol.
No, well, it's probably not a good idea.
It's not a good
but,
idea.
yeah, plenty of water.
Plenty of water for sure. So, but yeah, just do be very safe out there. And just got a comment on Facebook right here from Michael Harrison. He says, I really wanted that mosquito flag.
You know, is there a better one?
A better
Represents, you know.
Exactly.
Kudzu and mosquitoes. Put it on the flag. Yeah,
I like the kudzu idea.
why not?
It's a good one. So, folks, we're going to take a break, and we'll get back into our show coming up. Our number, of course, 601-485-9191. Online at WALTMeridian.com and here on 102.1 FM. We'll be back. A little Men at Work here on Mornings in Meridian. Colin Hay from Men at Work is turning 70 today.
We're Men at Work. Sort of. Does this work?
I don't think we're going to be as famous as those guys, but
Yeah.
so yeah, Colin Hay from the group is 70 today. Lackluster birthday list today. Really, the only one I see on the list here of any familiarity is Gary Busey. He is still doing his thing.
I didn't know he was still living.
Somehow, some way, he's still here.
Okay, all right.
He's 79 today, so Gary Busey.
Good on you, Gary.
Of course, Lethal Weapon, Under Siege, bunch of movies, and then a lot of craziness mixed in. So, So, but if you're celebrating a birthday here on the Thursday, June 29th, happy birthday to you.
Right on.
So there you go. So, opportunity right now to thank one of our sponsors. And folks, when it comes to outdoors, well, it's Tony Southern Sportsman.
That's right. Everything you need for your outdoor adventure, whether that's camping, hiking, fishing, hunting, you name it, Tony's got it. Right down there at 1724 Front Street, underneath the 18th Avenue overpass. And if you're interested in getting into archery, the fastest growing sport in the U.S. right now, Tony has everything you need to set up for that sport. And he's even got a little shooting gallery underneath that overpass right there. So you can check out a bow, see if you like it, purchase it, and he can tune it for you, size it for you, everything like that. So he is an expert on that. Of course, it's a great time to take the kids fishing, too. And Tony Creel has got your rod and reel. Go check him out. Tony's Southern Sportsman, 1724 Front Street, 601-693-4111. Of course, he's open 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and again on Saturday, 8:30 to 1.
Another story, kind of going statewide here with this one. Of course, don't know if a lot of folks know the story about what's been going on with the Rankin County Sheriff's Office. Rankin County deputies accused of beating and torturing two men earlier this year have been fired. That word came down from Sheriff Brian Bailey, announced that news back on Tuesday. The sheriff said over there in Rankin County, says, we understand that the alleged actions of these deputies has eroded the public's trust in our department. Bailey said in a prepared statement shared during a news conference, rest assured that we will work diligently to restore that trust. Charles, this happened, it was earlier this year. I believe it was on January the 24th. 6 deputies were conducting a drug investigation, raided a Braxton home where Michael Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker were living. And also there's a $400 million lawsuit against the county and the sheriff's department. The men said they were unlawfully imprisoned and tortured for 90 minutes, culminating in a deputy placing his service weapon in Jenkins' mouth and pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So, and also Bailey said the deputies were initially placed on administrative leave pending findings from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Recent developments and findings from an internal investigation led to the deputies' termination back on Friday. The sheriff did not name the deputies, but the lawsuit identifies 3 of them as Hunter Elward, Brett McAlpin, and Kristen DeMond. So, that happened back in January of earlier this year, and they have since been terminated, and of course, there's a lawsuit pending as well. So there you go.
Yep, and the federal lawsuit accuses them of beating, torturing, and sexually violating them as well. And there is a racial component to this as well. There was some accusations of these guys dating white women, which seems sort of random and odd, but I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. And, the fact that they terminated those deputies indicates that there is some culpability there, that there's some evidence that there is some truth to the accusations. Obviously, that will come out more in the investigation, but then to terminate them, to me, indicates that there is at least some truth to it. So, but, you wonder, okay, if the, the actions are this severe and this egregious, then there probably needs to be criminal charges filed. And so that may be the next step. I don't know. But, it sounds like a a pretty rough situation.
Yeah, back on Tuesday, the sheriff over there in Rankin County said, Sheriff Bailey said actions have been taken to ensure the sheriff's office serves and protects the public and ensure that all citizens' rights are protected. Pretty much a canned statement, you would think. It says those actions include a detailed analysis of policy, procedure, and training of staff. The department has also hired a full-time compliance officer to monitor daily operations and ensure compliance with state and federal law. He said, it is my privilege to serve the citizens of Rankin County as sheriff, and it has been my daily goal to run one of the best departments in the state of Mississippi. I believe in my heart that this department remains one of the best departments in our state, and I'm committed to doing everything in my power to keep this department on a correct path moving forward. That is the Rankin County Sheriff's Office. So there you go, in case you're just tuning in. And I think we can say that about our Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department as well, that they do a great job. So it looks like there is a pending investigation. They did an internal investigation, and they let the deputies go. There were 6 of them involved in this, and there's a federal, like I said, there's a federal lawsuit attached to this as well. So this story is bubbling up as well over there in Rankin County. So. Yeah. Interesting stuff. So.
It is, yeah. And, of course, that's national news as well. So
yeah, it is.
Represent our state very well.
Yeah, it's going to be a big national story. Obviously, like you said, there's a lot of components in there, and obviously the one component you mentioned is going to be a pretty big card there that's going to be on the tip of the tongue of a lot of media members as well. So 601-485-9191. Let's go to our phone line this morning. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Hey, Rob.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who won that Class 6A baseball championship?
You talking about the baseball championship? You talking about the College World Series?
No, I'm talking about the high school, the Class 6A.
I'll have to find out some information on that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't never hear about the 6A over here in this part of the state. I don't know why, but I've been trying to find out. Get the clown ledge every year. I have to get the clown ledge to pan out because you don't hear nothing on the OK, nothing about the 6A. Matter of fact, I didn't even hear nothing about Meridian High baseball.
I know. It's baseball, unfortunately, in this area doesn't get covered very well, unfortunately, by some of the media folks out there.
I found that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we listening.
All right, appreciate you, sir. All right, 601-485-9191. Yeah, I'm kind of missing some high school baseball right now, to be honest with you.
And he was asking about 6A, is that right? And that's Meridian and the bigger schools?
Okay. Yeah, Meridian, the bigger schools, yeah. Okay. So, high school baseball, it gets some coverage, but not as much as some folks would like. I mean, it does get covered a good bit when we get toward, playoff time. But, it kind of... Football is king, unfortunately.
No doubt.
And before you know it, we're going to be talking football.
Oh, we're getting close.
I
was just thinking about that. I get my fantasy team together pretty soon. So
you do the fantasy thing?
I got a couple leagues. Well, 3 that I'm involved with. Yeah.
What are you running? An underground gambling pool down there?
Well, not really. No, it's just we do one at the restaurant as a way for us to just talk smack on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, as the case may be. And
so that's where the operation's at now.
And that's what
that back room's all about.
$50 buy-in. I mean, it's not a huge investment. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of football, if you're going to be doing some tailgating, good segue into our giveaway over at WALTmeridian.com. Folks, if you missed it earlier this morning, we talked about our giveaway over at WALTmeridian.com. That is our Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. Folks, we are giving away a 2-burner Blackstone griddle, 22-inch, over at WALTmeridian.com. All you got to do is take a few moments, log onto our website. That's WALTmeridian.com and register. You'll see the Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes logo there on the main homepage. You click it, you register, and we're going to do the drawing coming up on July the 17th. So you got just a few more days to get that squared away, and one lucky listener, Charles, is going to win one of those good-looking Blackstone griddles.
Super lucky listener.
So big giveaway over at WALTmeridian.com is our Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. So good luck to all you folks out there as you register.
And there's a lot of sizzle outside right now, let me tell you. For the next couple of days.
Yeah, you really don't need don't need a griddle out there right now.
Just the top of your car, the hood. There you go.
Have you ever tried that before?
Cooking on the hood?
Yeah.
No. Cooking in the hood, maybe, but not on the hood. Yes. That's something totally different, yeah.
Let's go to our phone line this morning. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Joe, what's up?
I have a personal problem.
Oh, boy.
What? Gee, what a response.
I know, right? We went, oh, boy.
I do not understand how the city works when they're working on these interstates. I swear to you, they must have hired 5 drunk Mexicans from the quinceañera party to come and put the cones up, because it looks more like a block party than it does the separation for the interstate.
I think I know which one you're talking about, too.
Both of them. The one last week in front of Queen City, I almost got killed at.
Yeah, that one was bad. And then there's the other one as you're coming into Meridian from back in Meehan and Chunky, where they have that one lane closed off there. That one's all over the place, too. So.
Well, now you got to deal with the one that's right there by Bonita Lakes Mall they're working on at night.
Yep.
That one is horrible.
Yeah, because it was during, this was several weeks ago. I had to work some late nights out at state games at the college, and I got done like at midnight or after, and I ran into some of that. It is pretty tough through there if you're not paying attention. So.
Well, the thing is, they didn't, usually they separate it and they put the cones close enough together so you know good and well you can go ahead and exit.
Mm-hmm.
They put them close enough so you know that the lane change, the lane close, whatever is coming up. You have the arrow, you got the cones, but you don't have the separation to know that you can get off right here. They got the cones too far apart, and like I did the other day, I didn't see where the opening was, and I had to get off by the Queen City to bring a crew down Highway 11, and when I went to go turn, I realized that's not where I was supposed to turn. And yet, when I got to the exit, there was a car right next to me.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
So he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I put my hands up in the air and said, I'm sorry I couldn't see where I was going. And he pointed for me to keep going. So, thankfully I ran into a nice person.
Mm.
But, I mean, this stuff, whoever they're putting in charge, they are ridiculous.
I had a joke, but I was going to hold on to it. I was going to be a good boy for a change.
Hey, go for it. Unless you want to save it for tomorrow when I call.
No, I'll save it for tomorrow.
Oh,
it's a fun Friday.
Well, I also wanted to let you know that when you had Billy Adam Calvert on the radio the other day when I called in, you remember?
Yeah, that was last Friday. Yeah.
I got in touch with him, and I asked him if he had done anything about the police department, and he said something about he could look into revoking the city charter, and I told him that was extreme. I said, I really think that what needs to happen, I said, basic common sense would be to start making inquiries on the phone and getting in touch with the actual representative, who is Steve Horn, who is a Democrat, unfortunately.
I thought Steve was a Republican.
Was he?
Yeah,
That's not what it said on the paperwork.
Well, I think him and Mr. Shirley are running against each other in the primary. Could be wrong on that, but
okay. Well,
yeah.
When I looked it up, it said that he was a Democrat. So anyway, either way, when I explained to him, I said, you can get in touch with our actual representative and start making phone calls to find out what's going on. I said, because usually if somebody starts making a phone call at that level about what's going on, somebody's going to be suspicious, they're going to be concerned, and they're going to find out what's going on, and that's going to be the end of that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the police department deal again, and think about Billy Adam, a good friend of mine. I love Billy Adam Calvert to death. When you call him, he's going to answer, and he's going to try to find you out some kind of answer about that.
Right, exactly. And we've been texting ever since, and I sent him, off of your website, I sent him the picture of the deputy that his car was broken into right in front of the First Baptist Church. I said, now, if somebody's going to do this right in front of a church, with a lot of people sitting in there and wondering what's going on with this person, that's a bad sign.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the police department before I got off talking about Mr. Calvert. I had a conversation with a few people yesterday, and Charles, I'll bring you in on this too. Every last one of them said the exact same thing about policing here locally. They said that we've said it on the program before. We had listeners say it before that we need to have one uniform department, and that needs to be The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. I was in a group of about 10 folks yesterday, and every single person said the exact same thing, and it was a mixture of folks, both white, black, and city and county folks that said that yesterday.
Crime is not a racial issue. You're either a good person or a bad person.
Exactly. But unfortunately, some people are going to do that. So.
Well, I really don't care about other people. I'm caring about how many small businesses are getting ready to start closing up because they can't keep up with the homeless people that are running around and keeping people away from their business.
Joe, I was going to tell you real quick, just got a comment on our Facebook live feed, WALT Talk Radio, from our good buddy Zena Limerick. He said Horn is a Republican.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well, that's not what I saw in the paperwork, so my apologies. But like I said, if you start poking around and you get a lot of people poking around to find out what's going on, I don't understand how that shift of absorbing the police department is going to help the deputies. I mean, they're going to be under different leadership, so that means that the government level is going to change on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how that's going to work because once they understand that they're going to have to really be accountable as policemen, as the chief, and what's going on, I mean, that's going to be kind of tough. I think that's going to be a lot of resistance for that.
Right. Yeah.
But, you're going to have to do something because this is really, really getting out of hand. So I'll keep y'all posted about what's going on between me and Billy and, what we're going to come up with or what's going on because, I'm not backing off on the issue because that's something that really needs to be addressed. You're not going to get businesses to come here, and the ones that come here are not going to stay very long because of what's going on. So, if you're going to be doing that, then you're going to be losing revenue. Mm-hmm. And if it's worth that much to keep these people not going to jail or not doing anything about that, you're going to, lose revenue over it, then that's a big problem.
Absolutely.
All right. I love y'all. Talk to y'all later.
Love you too. Bye.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up as far as the consolidation of, well, I wouldn't say it's consolidation, maybe just the takeover of the police department by the sheriff's department.
And like I said, this group of folks are good friends of mine, and we talk about issues that we talk about here on the program, and that was brought up yesterday, and it was very interesting that folks who live both in the county and the city, different backgrounds, different demographics, whatever it might be, all collectively said the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just found that very, very interesting. So, but it's, I mean, folks, let's face it, it's still the number one issue here locally. I mean, you just can't get around anything else. It's the number one issue people talk about.
As far as crime or as far as the different departments and so on?
I think crime and then maybe that to follow, or just lump them together. Lump them together at this point.
Kind of the same category, just the subcategory of it. And I mean, it just, if we could look at it objectively and say, wait a minute, we've got a redundant, essentially, police force. Mm-hmm. We've got two who are doing the same thing, same jurisdiction. Well, obviously, the city police doesn't go out in the county, but the county certainly goes into the city because that's in the county. But we could actually save money and provide better services by consolidating.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. The only thing that is lost is the control of the police department from the city.
Well, to take words from one of our other callers, old Hazmat, how bad does it need to get? And you hate to go that route, but how bad does it have to get until that option is going to be on the table for folks in leadership to bring up the discussion at least and talk about it?
And for them to say, okay, what's the right thing and what's the best thing to do for our community? And that's not what they're doing right now.
Are we here for ourselves, or are we here to do what we promised to do in campaign slogans and say we're here to serve the people? And I think serving the people is to make them as safe as possible.
Sure.
So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Rob and Charles.
Hey.
Morning.
Did y'all not ever get a response back from Roberts and Johnson to come on the radio show?
Oh, not to my knowledge. I'll have to check with Roger. He'll be back tomorrow, but I have not. Now, I will. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're the caller. You go first.
Well, sometimes I rather listen to what because it may initiate some of it. Anyway, I understand that people have asked some Roberts and Johnson to debate Calhoun, and they will not do it. and that's a real concern that somebody will not get out there and debate, and or even come on the radio show. That don't sound good.
Well, I will tell you in full transparency, I have personally talked to both Ricky Roberts and Chris Reed. Saw them down at Memorial Day because I had an opportunity to MC that event, and I spoke to both of them about coming on this program and still have not gotten a response. And I think Roger has also reached out to Mr. Roberts as well. Still no response. Ward Calhoun said he would love to come on and have a spot on the program again. And when we get to the general, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Johnson would love to come on the program as well. So, but we still not gotten a response from the Roberts folks.
Well, you'd think so. Otherwise, it sounds like another Biden and Smith situation we're headed into.
Oh, goodness. But, the sheriff's race is going to be, it is going to be the number one most talked about race when we get to August 8th. And like I said, I think myself and Roger, we had discussed about sending letters out to all the candidates to invite them to have a debate on this program. And if we get responses, good. If we don't, then so be it. So,
you think we'll have a coroner debate? We don't have a big enough studio.
If we have a coroner debate, we'll have to make that a 6-part series, I think. So,
or just get it in the high school gym.
Right there.
What did you say again?
I said that could lead to a dead end right there.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, love it.
Well, do me a favor. Continue reaching out because people need to know what they could be headed to. And like I said, we don't need a crime situation in the county like the city has. We do not need a sheriff's department like we have the mayor department and admin. This needs to be done.
Absolutely. Well, if there's one thing I'll promise you, we're going to keep trying, and we're going to keep trying. I will say one thing. I did speak with the Chris McDaniel folks yesterday, and he is going to be on the program here in the next week or so.
Oh, yeah, I'm for Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be a good interview. I've gotten to know Chris over the last couple of weeks, and we've talked on the phone several times, and he has agreed to come on the program, and should have him on the next week or two.
Well, when Joe said something about Horn being a Democrat, I said, oh, no, here goes a Thad Cochran scheme right here.
Oh, no.
I remember this stuff.
There you go. A lot of folks do, so.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you listening.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. 601-485-9191. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's
morning.
going on?
Hey, man, I got a question.
I may not have a lot of answers left, but we'll make something up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the internet.
There you go.
I don't know if you can Google this. So, clearly there is a standard difference between a city officer and a county officer.
Okay.
I mean, you could tell that by the way they carry themselves. Okay.
We got about a minute left here, by the way.
Okay. If there is this speaking of absorption from one to the other, and I know the county may probably pull officers from the city if they see that they kind of meet the standard. But what is the standard difference? Do you guys know what the standard difference is? Is it more rigorous to become a county officer than it is a city officer?
That's a heck of a question.
And if so, would those people have to undergo that kind of training? Would they be able to pick and choose who they wanted? Like, how would that even work, I guess?
That'd be a good Sheriff Solly question.
I would imagine that objectively the requirements are similar.
I would hope so.
I think that they're probably more selective in the county as to who they're hiring. That they're going through a little bit more of they have more applicants and a bigger pool to choose from. But I would think that just from a straight up, law enforcement requirement, kind of objective criteria, it would be similar.
Yeah, I would hate for them to just absorb the inner city area.
Sure.
And have to run those officers that much thinner if they're doing that good of a job.
Yeah.
Hey, if you speed up,
Well, we got to run here, but if you want to call back, catch us on the other side of the break here.
Cool deal, guys.
All right, appreciate you. All right, a lot of good discussion this morning. Shocker. Law enforcement in Lauderdale County.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Meridian's News Talk leader.
right, welcome back in. Another hour of Mornings in Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT. Of course, online at WALTmeridian.com and Facebook Live and YouTube, WALT Talk Radio. And, of course, while you're over at WALTmeridian.com, don't forget to register for Stars, Stripes, and Summer Sweepstakes. We're giving away that 2-burner, 22-inch Blackstone griddle. Yeah, we're going to do the final drawing on July the 17th. So register now. It's going to be the easiest thing you do all day to win a Blackstone. WALTmeridian.com. Go register. Just a few clicks and you're done. So go check it out. WALTmeridian.com. Rob, hanging out with you along with Charles Frazier here on this Thursday morning.
In the house.
Yes, and Roger had a good streak going.
Yeah.
But he'll be back tomorrow.
What, did he oversleep? What happened?
Allegedly, he'll be back tomorrow.
Okay.
So, let's go ahead and jump back into the phone lines. Of course, if you were with us heading up toward the top of the hour, you know what we're talking about, and that is policing in Meridian and Lauderdale County. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, true American patriots.
Hazmat.
Tigers and bears and hazmat.
Oh, my.
What's up, my brother?
Well, I heard about the flag issue, and that's going to be a big issue with people that's important to, like me. One of the worst parts of that whole deal, it was taken out of the hands of the voters, and the voters were lied to. Okay. Now, Ronnie Musgrove wanted to change that flag, and it went to a vote, and the citizens of Mississippi voted to keep the flag. All right, that ain't enough. Oh, we're losing business, and the sports people are not going to come here. Well, if you're under that amount of intimidation and extortion, I just tell them don't come at all. We've done without your money before. We'll do without it again. But this issue of the police, I was talking to Miss Joe yesterday.
Oh.
And we had a pretty good little in-depth conversation, and she's wanting to write all these people and call them. Here's the deal. They got no power to do anything, man. They don't have any power to do anything over there. The power is right down there at City Hall that can change this. And they've already seen the ineffectiveness of the leadership of the person that they put in the chief's position. I'd love somebody to call in and give a true count of the officers in the MPD. We're not talking about dispatch and desk jockeys. We're talking about shields and weapons and black and whites on the street to protect the safety and security of the people of this town. And look at the impact it's having on business. And like I said before, how bad is it going to have to get?
Yeah.
Is it going to have to look like Dodge City, man? We picking up bodies and bullets every damn day? Well, where's the break point? Is it going to take some influential rich person in Northwood getting hurt or killed? But we are powerless to do anything about it. What we're going to do, march in the street? We're going to get some medieval torches and pitchforks like the French Revolution and go in front of the City Hall? They don't even hear us, man. We have no voice. The average Meridianite has no voice in how the city's run. No. Well, next time we vote, we're going to get somebody in. Same issues are here, man. Nothing was done the last administration. And it just seems like it gets worse and worse every day. But the only solution that will work is combine the sheriff's office and the MPD. And let the sheriff run the whole show and let the people elect him and be responsible to the people and not the mayor and the city council.
You know, Haz, it's funny you bring that up because we were talking with a individual off air a few minutes ago about those certain issues, and Charles, correct me if I'm wrong on some of the conversation, but it was I brought up what is it going to take to get to that point where everything comes under one umbrella? And I think it's been talked about before, but I don't think it really had any traction. It really didn't go anywhere because
because they want to be in control.
Yeah, you're right about that. So
they want to be in control, and they want the mayor to call shots.
I think the real question is, how do we compel that to happen? How do we make that happen? Do we go to the state government and petition and say, look, we need an order of takeover from the state government? Because obviously we can't affect city. If we live in the county, we can't affect what happens in the city.
We have no
vote. We have no voice in that, even though
it affects us. If you get to a petition, how many people are going to sign that due to the demographics of Meridian? We demand that we get a new chief of police. We demand better police protection. These businesses are going to start suffering, and think about it, it's not going to be the vagrants breaking in or hanging out in front of the stores. What's going to turn the lights out for the lock-in is people are going to go somewhere else. They're going to go online. They're going to Collinsville. They're going to Meridian. They're going somewhere, Quitman, Newton, or something. But they're going to quit going to Meridian. And instead of worried about the tourists coming here and the tourists bringing money, how much money locally are you losing every day because people are scared to live and shop here? That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Is a word I said, is any word of it not true? Everybody is loaded for bear and painted for war. When they leave the house, they armed up. And you're going to see more shootouts like a deal Friday. It's coming. And they're bold as brass because they have no fear of MPD or being apprehended, prosecuted, or punished for anything they do. And the citizens are going to take it up at some point. It'll go back to vigilante justice at some point. Because you either got two choices, flight or fight. Where are you going to run? All them people that run in the county and left Meridian because they didn't want to be in Meridian, you know, how far can you run before you have to make a stand? But they'll not look at the grand jury report.
Yeah.
look at their recommendations.
And it seems like that's a broken record every time they convene too. It's the same.
Well, they
same
should have wrote it on some Charmin. At least somebody could wipe their butt with it.
Right, that's true. It'd been more useful.
Yeah.
I mean, because it never was even read, man. We're gonna run it just like we want to. We're gonna show everybody. We're gonna put our person in the chief slot, and then Benny Dubose is getting a check for being a mentor, or monitor, or whatever.
Consultant.
Yeah, there we go, consultant.
Yeah. But where's the leadership? We don't need somebody in training. We're at war with crime. We need a general. We don't need a private. We need a proven leader and somebody that's going to recruit good quality law enforcement other than by, how do y'all recruit? By word of mouth. This is the 21st century, for God's sake. You going to go through the neighborhood, hey, man, you want to be a popo? I mean, is that ridiculous or what now to even make a statement like that? Until you get good leadership and until this town straightens up, it's going downhill. And the only thing that's going to really bring power to bear is shut the money off. Shut it off. Show where your mouth is and your vote is. And when it goes bad enough, maybe they'll do something. But as long as it's status quo and nobody important gets shot or killed, it's not going to change. They got it just like they want it. And unless you bring in outside forces, U.S. Marshals or something, I don't know if there is an answer. I've looked at this thing from about every angle I could address.
And it'll give you a headache when you look at every angle, and there's really no solution right now.
There is none. And anybody that's got a better thought or better plan, let's hear it, man.
Well, it's interesting you say no solution, but obviously, if we continue doing what we're doing, there's nothing that's going to change. So any change, I think, would have some effect. And I think that the logical solution would be to combine both forces and to at least promote cooperation between the sheriff's department and the police department and kind of get some sort of integration together.
Right.
Not, okay, combining them that's down the road, but at least we could have a lot more cooperation. I think the sheriff's department is willing to do that. I think that the real resistance right now is the police department. They want to kind of hold on to their territory. So,
right. Here's the thing. Probably nobody in Meridian that is for law and order in decent, safe living conditions has any confidence in the MPD. If it wasn't for the sheriff's bunch, we wouldn't have no law and order.
The boys in green.
They will not relinquish the power because it's their people. I say, and people don't want to look at that as a race issue, but it is. Look at who's doing the crime and the shooting and killing. Ain't the Ku Klux Klan. Ain't the Aryan Nation. Nope. Ain't the no pesky white supremacists. Let's just call it what it is. They're doing the crime, and the people that are pursuing them are the same race of people. They all know who does this, man. But they're not going to turn one in. They're not going to help the MPD catch these people. Out of fear and intimidation, retaliation, or whatever. But unless we get some decent law enforcement and more of it, Meridian's doomed. You stick a fork in Meridian because Meridian's done. All them emerald, yellow brick roads leading to the Emerald City and all the tourist little doodads, that's not going to matter. When the people that live here hate living here and are scared to live here, you go to your mailbox with a gun in your hand, that tells you what we got. Why would anybody want to come here? These stories get out. There's no way to suppress these stories. Just like me on this Smarter Than I Am phone, I got 500 contacts. I hear a story like that deal last Friday. I hit forward, put them all. 500 people get the story at the speed of light. All over the country. And no wonder Meridian has a bad reputation. This law enforcement issue is the last nail in the box for Meridian, Mississippi. It's got the kiss of death on Meridian. Roger that.
There you go. The has spoken. Charles, your response.
Well, I think that just trying to flip it, not optimistic, but to say, hey, we've got a great opportunity. We've got an issue here. We recognize it. Okay, what's the solution? And if we can get some support within the city and say, look, this is what we need to do. This is getting out of hand. And if we can get some business leaders from both the white and the African-American community to come together and say, look, this is a solution. This is what we need to do as a community. Because what he talks about that people in the city don't want this sort of thing happening. The only ones who do want this crime happening are the ones who don't vote anyway or pay taxes. So they have absolutely no influence or really no say. Now, they do have a say if they opt for it, but I can almost guarantee you that most of them aren't out there voting,
Yeah, you're right.
And so how do we then kind of garner that support and kind of get all those people together on one page and say, look, this is what we need to do as a community. We need to come together and we need to solve this problem. We have a problem. Let's identify the problem. The problem is crime. What's the solution? What are some solutions? Let's bring 10 to the table, and to me, the most obvious one is to facilitate better cooperation between the two departments with hopefully an ultimate aim to integrate the departments and have the sheriff department take over as the main entity and the Meridian Police Department as sort of a traffic type thing. I don't know. But certainly as far as the main crime fighting mechanism in the county, it would be the sheriff's department. So, but how do we go about doing that? That's really the question.
Texter writes in a few messages here. Kind of set my phone over here to the side because we're pretty busy on the show this morning. Talking about I guess you would say, consolidation of law enforcement. Never happened. City council will not give up control. Also, another texter writes in. We talked about the the referendum earlier
on the flag.
I think it was on would something referendum go with consolidating? Would that be on a ballot or something along those lines? Voters vote on a referendum? ? Like you said, people that don't vote. I mean, how many people would turn out to vote on that too? I mean, I don't know what the process would go on that. And of course, last message here: our mayor and city council does nothing. So that's just from folks out there listening to the program, messaging into the show. So there you go. So 601-485-9191 is our talk line number. Of course, we're live right now over on Facebook and YouTube, WALT Talk Radio, and of course, streaming online at WALTmeridian.com. And another reminder: register for that Star, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes now to win that 22-inch 2-burner Blackstone griddle for your summer barbecuing and grilling, rather, over at WALTmeridian.com. It's pretty simple to register. And while we have a chance right now, let's thank one of our local advertisers here on Mornings in Meridian, and that is our friends over at Premier Paint and Body, because when you get that little fender bender, Danny Shelton and the staff, that's the one you got to go see.
That's right. They've been doing it right for over 30 years, providing the best auto body work and quality paint jobs. You got a ding, a dent, a scratch? Danny Shelton and his crew going to fix you up right. Like new results, no job is too small or too large. They'll give you a free estimate. And, of course, work with your insurance company, and all of their work has a lifetime warranty. Located conveniently right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North. And they're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Give them a call. This number is easy to remember, and you might want to write it down because when you need them, you need them. 601-482-PAINT. That's 601-482-7246. Premier Paint and Body. They are the premier paint and body shop here in town.
We mentioned, we're obviously talking about crime this morning, but how about some of these businesses in Meridian that have been burglarized multiple times? I know of one business, Dairy Queen, right up here on 39. They've been broken into several times over the past, I'd say, several months.
Well, their ice cream's great. I mean, it's been hot, so people want the ice cream.
I mean, somebody needs to check and make sure Joe Biden wasn't up on 39.
Probably loves chocolate chip.
So,
Come on, man.
But folks like that. It's got to be frustrating. I mean, obviously, you can only do what you can do to secure your business and have cameras and locks and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, Virginia Carney Nelson, remember when her place got broken into? That was in downtown. And, of course, she took the proper precautions to do what she needed to do. But, I mean, you can only do so much when you have so few folks out there on the force. And I'm like Kaz, what is that number? I think it's fair for us to know what is the number of folks that are out there patrolling these streets. I know that they work in shifts, but how many folks do we have that wear the uniform that are out there on the streets right now?
Patrol officers.
Patrol officers. How many do we actually have? And I'm kind of like you got folks that work dispatch and all that other kind of stuff, but how many boots on the ground do we have right now?
And I'm in 2 minds. I want to know, but then who do I want to know?
Well, I think wow.
And do we want that knowledge to be public? Is really the question.
I mean, at this point, it's gotten so bad. I mean, just rip the dadgum Band-Aid off and let's just put it all out on the table. This is what it is, and this is where we got to go.
Sure.
So, and I think we're at that point right now, but I'm kind of like Kaz. You can look at it at every different angle, but it's like, what is the ultimate solution, though? So, but it's the never-ending. They had the movie, The Never-Ending Story. Well, it's the never-ending story in Meridian. Right. So
it will never end.
It will never end.
Right about that.
601-485-9191. Folks, we'll take a quick break and we'll take more of your phone calls, and we'll be back in just moments. Doesn't get more perfect than that, does it?
Yeah.
Hot town summer in the city.
Yeah.
We got hot sidewalks and shell casings hitting sidewalks.
Yeah. You do the heat is on. Yeah, that's another one. Burning down the house.
So many ways to go. So.
Yeah, I know it.
601-485-9191 is our number here on Mornings in Meridian. We're about 23 minutes away from the top of the hour. Of course, live over on Facebook right now. Hope you folks are doing good there on social media this morning. WALT Talk Radio, and, of course, online at WALTMeridian.com. And we need to thank our friends. Well, it's a short drive to Philadelphia to go see our friends at Doc's Toyota. But if you want to shop from the convenience of your desktop while you're listening to Mornings in Meridian on WALTMeridian.com, you can go to Doc'sToyota.com.
That's exactly right, and you can sit in the air conditioning and shop because they've got a huge inventory listed on their website. Of course, it's Doc'sToyota.com, as you said, and pre-owned inventory as well. And all of the pre-owned vehicles have been through the rigorous multi-point in Toyota inspection process, so you know it's a good quality car. They've got 2023 Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Corollas, Highlanders, you name it, Toyota makes it. They've got it up there at Doc's. And, of course, what's great about Doc's is you can actually rent a vehicle before you purchase. Mm-hmm. You want to get a new 4Runner, not sure if you like it, go rent one, drive it around for a week, see if you like it, and then, of course, you will. So go buy it at Doc's because there is no deal like a Doc's deal. Go see them right up the road in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Their number, 601-600-3786. And, of course, their website, Doc'sToyota.com.
Of course, don't forget, big celebration going to be taking place at Bonita Lakes on Tuesday. Of course, the 4th of July. It's hard to believe we're already, talking about the 4th of July. Man, this year is just flying on by. But Tuesday, of course, City of Meridian is going to be hosting their annual 4th of July celebration, and that will be out at the lake. And the lake will open that day at around 3:30. They're going to have a lot of food vendors that day at 4 o'clock, and they'll have the fireworks show later on that night at around 9 o'clock. They're going to have Scott McQuaig going to be doing some music out there as well, so it should be a good performance there. So the City of Meridian hosting their annual 4th of July celebration. Live music, food, family fun, fireworks, 3:30, gates open, food vendors at 4, and Scott McQuaig doing the music there. If you need more information on that, go to visitmeridian.com. So it should be a good celebration on Tuesday.
Yeah, and what's great about that is that the weather looks like it's going to break by then. So
you've looked that far ahead, have you?
130-degree days. It's going to be
130.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not going to be. So that's this weekend, today and tomorrow. But no, it's going to be like a 92. So anyway.
So it should be a good celebration on at the lake, and if you don't make it down to the lake, if you get there a little late, I know things kind of get clogged down there. You can park, from a decent distance and watch the fireworks. Yeah. So there's a lot of good spots around the city to watch that. So, and of course, I know a lot of people say, well, 9 o'clock at night, I'm out Meridian, and I know a lot of people say that too. Unfortunately, that is what it is.
It is. You got to wait till dark.
There you go.
Get the fireworks going.
Exactly. Let's go to the phone line at 485-9191. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning, Rob.
Hey, morning, sir.
How y'all is?
We is okay. We trying to figure out all these problems in Meridian.
Well, I got a suggestion.
We'll take anything. The box is waiting for suggestions.
Bring it on.
It won't take just a few there. You got all them people up there at the city, mayor and all that bunch. They both don't need to be up there telling people what they, his expertise. The majority of the people is going to be like Biden. He starts out one or two words, or then he, that one. But talk is cheap.
Yeah.
We all grown men.
Yeah.
It's cheap. And as long as y'all get on there, y'all can run your radio station by saying, well, we need to do this and we need to do that. But somebody needs to get out and go back in the paperwork and find out if it's nothing but for 6 months at a time till we get it straightened out over there.
Yeah.
Put people back in there that's trustworthy. To me, it's the Biden election. I I think Biden done got this mess turned over too.
Yeah, Biden said yesterday, I don't know if you caught this or not, but he had another gaffe yesterday. He was outside the White House talking to the press, and he said that Putin's fighting that war in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
I mean, good Lord bless his heart. And, he's got sleep apnea, too. They saw the little marks on his face where he wears his mask. So, yeah, he's dealing with sleep apnea, too. So
The CPAP?
The CPAP, yeah, he has to wear the CPAP at night.
You got some issues. Too much ice cream. Yeah.
There's too many people there, that's so tender-hearted. It didn't used to be that way. Of course, we have to take care of everything we need to take care of. But the fact of remains, there's that Vice President, Kamala. Like when the officers got hurt, people got killed, and everything else in the buildings, and the police department start getting turned down, they ought to jerk her butt up and put her up. And I'm just saying, you can wag your tongue all you want there. But, if people don't stop and say, well, here's, take an advisory board with you in there, and then run them suckers out of City Hall, do what they got to do, and then again, they both don't need to be in there giving that expertise, because he wasn't no marathon one when he was running.
Good suggestions.
I don't see why it can't be done. You have to make a carload of y'all over there at Jackson to the Senate and everything over there.
Well, if you're buying the gas, let's go.
I'll buy the damn gas.
I love it. There we go. I like it.
It's just the fact, you can go on and on and on and on and everything there, and it just keeps going on. Well, somebody's going to have to get in there and clean the mess out and put people in there, even if it's only for 6 months, a year, until they get it back to what it used to be. It used to be a good place to go in. They was all friendly. Everything was running good. PD went the way they need to go. The sheriff's department's always done it. It's just, talk is cheap. That's the best thing I can say.
There you go. Well, hey, appreciate you out there.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. All right, 601-485-9191. There you go, Charles. Talk is cheap.
Well, and he's exactly right. We can talk all day long about what should be done and what needs to be done and everything like that, and what effect does it have. Well, not a whole lot. It might actually, get some people thinking, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot of action with that. So you need the talk, and then you need the action.
And I always hear folks say, we need to vote these people out. We need to go to the ballot box and vote them out. Okay, that's great, but we see what voter turnout is like for these elections. So people don't get off of their, in the words of Billy Jack, get off of their duff and go out and vote. And there's a lot of good folks who are business owners, leaders in our county and city or whatnot, that would make excellent candidates, but they don't run because of the fear of it may be too much that for them to bite off and chew maybe, and it's so many different lanes you could go down with that argument.
Sure,
so, but that's the thing about it is we're going to clean this up. Then if you're not satisfied with the leadership you have, get out there and vote them out.
Sure,
or support some folks to push them to go run against these folks. I mean, that's what this process is all about in this country. But until people actually get out there and check the box, I don't know.
That's part of it. But go to a city council meeting and
that is another deal too.
And so or meet with a city council member and say, look, these are our concerns. Come on, we need to do something about that. Meet with the mayor. Put some pressure on, and all of those things can be effective. The most effective is voting. But, bringing up some points at city council meetings can start a conversation, and that can lead to change as well.
Well, there was an article that ran in the Meridian Star last Saturday. It was talking about, the big divide, and this just didn't start with this current administration. It's been administrations in the past, the divide between the city council and the mayor's office. I mean, that's been a continuous thing for eons, I would guess, if you want to throw that word out there. But this particular council and mayor, there's been a lot of decisiveness lately. And Julie Norman, who we've had on the program here before, she works for the State Parole Board. She spoke, I guess it was in the citizens' comments portion of the last city council meeting, and she said, we need leadership. We need to stop the infighting. pointing the finger at this person, that person, and let's just get back to the table. We need good, solid leaders. She just didn't say the mayor's office; she had counsel as well, and she just kind of told it like it was. So
interesting. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. I've got the
talker.
Yeah, I've got the article over there. I'll have to read some of the quotes from that particular article that ran in last Saturday's Meridian Star. It was a big front page headline, top fold. Had the council's pictures up there, the mayor and everybody else talking about all the infighting going on. Of course, there's a lot of hurt feelings about some bond issues with paving from the mayor's office and the city council not pushing those forward a little bit more. That was also quoted in the article. And, of course, we talked about the Parks and Rec bond issue. That did get passed through with the mayor's office and the city council, but the paving bond issue has been kind of left on the back burner, so to speak. But a lot of infighting, and I think that's with any administration and council, but there's been a lot of that here lately. And, of course, transfer of funds. We've talked about that here on the program as well a good bit. So, but citizens of Meridian, Mississippi deserve to know all of what's going on. So.
Sure, and deserve better leadership. I agree with Julia, and I think that she's, she tells it like it is.
Yeah. she sure as heck did. She sure as heck did. So, 12 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour here on Mornings of Meridian. Still got time to get a few of your phone calls in there at 601-485-9191. Folks, don't forget this Saturday, Earth's Bounty is going to take place in downtown Meridian, Singing Brakeman Park. It'll be from 8 until noon. Of course, we had Craig Wilkes on the program earlier this week, and get there early to get the best pick of everything they're going to have at Earth's Bounty. Of course, they have this the first Saturday of every month through about early part of fall is when they'll continue to go through that there at Singing Brakeman.
Maybe all the way to November, but I'm not exactly sure what month it ends. But yeah, it's for a while. It's a great thing.
Here it is right here. You're right. Oh. Through November. Look at you.
Yes, once again, right.
Look at you.
Yeah, it gets so tiresome being right. But,
they're going to have live music and a lot of other stuff going on. That's this Saturday, Singing Brakeman Park, Earth's Bounty. They'll get cranked up at 8 o'clock and go till noon. Local, fresher, better with Earth's Bounty in the city of Meridian. So I hope you'll go down there.
Right, and some of that food is going to be cooked by about noon. So, you can go get raw vegetables at 8, and then if you wait till noon, they'll be cooked because it's going to be a little warm.
It is going to be warm.
They're not going to be cooked. I'm sure they'll keep them cool.
So I said go early because it's going to be 100 million degrees by noon. And the pick of tomatoes is going to be pretty slim by then. But anyway, so that's this Saturday. And, of course, you got Mingle at the museum going on tonight down at the Children's Museum.
Oh, mingling.
That's going to be from 6 until 9. And then, of course, the Max is going to have an all-day event. They're going to have a summer fun event there at the Max celebrating summertime. So that's going to start at 8 a.m. and go until 5. So give you a chance to roll through the Max as well. So downtown is
Saturday.
So it's going to be hopping as well this Saturday along with Earth's Bounty. So that whole row right there on that main drag there between the Max and Earth's Bounty is going to be cooking on Saturday morning. Literally cooking. I know. There's so many jokes.
Well, that's all right.
A lot of low-hanging fruit
but
here.
Good. Lots of stuff going on this weekend, of course, with July 4th as well. So really a few days of activities with it Saturday. And you said there's something tonight at the museum?
Yeah, Mingle at the museum tonight with Children's Museum. So despite all the problems we have with crime, the bickering, there's still some good going on.
Yes, there is.
So we want to highlight the good. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. It might have been the summer of 69, but the summer of 23, hot. You love it when your meteorologist, John Weatherby, he opens up his forecast with hot.
Hot. That's all I need to say.
That's your forecast for today.
That's the forecast. Hot. Okay.
Excessive heat warning, of course. We've talked a lot about that this morning. I feel like a broken record all the time saying be safe, be safe, be safe.
Yeah,
But in all
like
seriousness, though, folks, if you're out in that heat for an extended period of time, you don't take those breaks. I mean, the heat conditions are so bad. Heat stroke, I mean, those heat illnesses, I mean, they can hit you in a hurry, especially with these heat index values. They're saying up to 115 over the next several days. So just bear that in mind because, man, it could get things could turn really quick on you.
Yes, they can. That's right. Drink plenty of fluids. Get those electrolytes in.
I mentioned earlier about the article that was written in the Meridian Star by Thomas Howard back on Saturday. I was going to read some of the quotes here from the meeting here, and I want to say that Julia Norman, of course, she previously served in the city's government affairs department before being appointed to the state parole board by Governor Tate Reeves, and she's been on this show before as well. She was at the meeting on Tuesday, and I'm just going to read her quotes here. These two bodies are to work together for the will of the people, and as of late, that does not appear to be going so well. She said at Tuesday's city council meeting, it is your responsibility to sit at the table and work together. Norman said the squabbles between the city council and the city administration distract from the real community issues that need to be addressed, such as the rise in violent crime. She said Meridian residents want to know what their leaders are doing to address gang violence, locate illegal firearms, make improvements recommended in recent grand jury reports, and more. She added that while the city administration and council showcase their disagreements, Meridian residents are waiting for leadership. The back and forth between the mayor's office and the city council only harms the people you serve. We need someone to step up to hold those accountable that need to be held accountable to find workable solutions for the citizens. We need a leader, and we need it now. Who's it going to be? Because Meridian is asking. That was Julia Norman at the recent city council meeting. Just quoting an article from Thomas Howard there. That was in Saturday's Meridian Star. It was a front page article talking about the tensions at City Hall right now.
So she asked the question, who's stepping up? And crickets.
It's like I said, we've had Julia on this program before, and she's going to tell you like it is. And she's worked with the city before in a previous administration, and obviously can't really disagree with what she said in those comments right there.
No, and I think that what she did was to raise the important questions. And, are we seeking actual answers to those? Maybe not immediately, but those questions have been raised and will continue to be raised now. And so I think that was an important thing that she did. And hopefully we can continue to say, hey, what's going on? Who's going to step up? And why is this squabbling continue?
Yeah. But I just want to read those quotes. We had mentioned that during our previous segments. I just wanted to roll those out there for you before we got out of here at 9 o'clock. So 601-485-9191. I might not have time for a phone call. We're kind of right up against it here at 9 o'clock. Of course, Glenn Beck is up next at 9, followed by Clay and Buck. And by the way, programming note today on Clay Travis and Buck Sexton there, Charles. He's going to have two of the GOP presidential candidates, Clay and Buck, will on the program today. They will have Chris Christie is going to be on Clay and Buck later on today. And then Tim Scott, who I really admire.
Yeah, I like him too.
He's a heck of a guy. I wish he would get bumped a little bit more on that process in the GOP. It is early. Yeah. But they will have Chris Christie on today and Tim Scott on Clay and Buck here on WALT. So if you want to hear from some of the GOP candidates, they'll be on here later on today. Of course, Sean Hannity will continue to beat the Hunter Biden drum today, and then Joe Pags later on your drive home. So
needs to beat Hunter Biden.
There you go. Before we get out of here, just another reminder, of course, we're streaming online at WALTmeridian.com. And while you're over there at WALTmeridian.com, don't forget to register for the Stars, Stripes, and Sizzle sweepstakes. That contest is going to be live on the website until July the 17th, where we will draw a winner for that 22-inch 2-burner Blackstone griddle to be given away to one lucky listener. So go register now, WALTmeridian.com. It's a simple process. Put your name in, boom, you're registered, and we could be drawing your name for that griddle
You
on
could be cooking us lunch.
July the 17th.
Yes, indeed.
WALTmeridian.com. Well, Charles, been a fun show today. Appreciate you coming in on a Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
So I guess we'll see you next week.
On Monday. We'll do it.
Roger allegedly is going to be back tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think we're scheduled to have Jeff Tate on the program tomorrow, state senator, but fireworks guy.
Yeah, he's a fireworks guy.
It is fireworks.
This week, anyway.
Fireworks season. We'll talk about fireworks with him tomorrow and take more of your phone calls at 485-9191. Charles, say goodbye.
Goodbye.